So I don't usually wear my glasses on video or stream, but I just walked into my light stand and it hit so hard that when I went to remove my glasses, I have a mark on my face. So deal with it. All right. So today we're going to talk about what I've learned being a content creator / streamer, a little bit of streaming. I'm more of a content creator, and how to become one. And also the big question is, why am I headed away from gaming? Why am I changing my tune? And I just feel like this is the only time I'm really going to make a video like this. So let's jump into it. And I'm titling this notepad a la Devin Nash. If you ever watched one of his videos, this is kind of his style. So anyways, okay. Pathway to become a gaming creator, streamer. I just want to first differentiate like doing something as a hobby versus a career. And the best analogy that I can make is I used to be a professional photographer. I did commercial photography and video and all that in production. And a lot of people do that stuff as a hobby, and the mindset is completely different. You know, when you are taking your camera to go on a nature walk or you're at your friend's wedding, you're hoping to get a good photo. And when you do it as a professional, you have to get a good photo. Rain or shine, if people are happy or not happy, if you're doing family photography and one of the little kids is a little shit and won't sit down and won't look at the camera and is crying the whole time, you have to make this family happy. You need to get a photo for them. They hired you to do it. You're there, and it's a waste of your time and their time. Like, we just need to get it done. And it changes the stress around everything. And I just want to be clear, like, this video is for someone who wants to expand their stream into something more than a hobby. And if you haven't made that decision yet, like if you're kind of on the fence, you don't know which way to go, my philosophy is shit or get off the pot. Because you can make more money in the future. You can also lose money, and it's a lot easier to lose money than it is to make money, in my opinion. But you can always make or lose money. You can lose relationships, you can make them back, you can retain them, you can make new relationships. But the one thing you can't get back and make more of is time. You can maybe take care of your body and to make, to give yourself more time, but you can't make more time. And once you've lost it, it's gone forever. So decide what you want to do and do it. I'm a big proponent of, if you're going to do it, do it. Sounds simple, hard to do in reality. So there are some basic principles, as we move forward here. I define intelligence in content creation as being presented with the same situation and having a new action and doing something different. So I hope after this video, everybody who's kind of in this industry, or you're thinking about streaming or content creation, or maybe you can apply this to other parts of your life, that you take something from this. And the next time you go to make a video, or the next time you start a creative project, that you do something different. And that would be intelligence. Or you go and you research and you find out why I'm wrong, and maybe you do something slightly different, whatever. But there's some kind of action involved. You're not just repeating things over and over and over. And also, a basic principle here is that entertainment is not about you. A lot of people have this backwards. They think that people get really popular and then people will listen to their music and watch their movies and watch their content because of who they are and that they have subscribers. And the way that I look at it is people like what you're doing. And the second you stop doing what they like, they stop watching. And this has been repeated in every single industry. A movie director who makes a bad movie, people will not watch it. It does not do well. A musician who puts out an album that sucks, no one listens to it. And if you go to their concert and they play that crappy music and everyone who knows you wants you to play the old stuff, people will literally leave the concert and boo. I mean, I've watched it happen. And on YouTube, let's just talk about me for a second. If you make your content about Tarkov, so here's a good Tarkov video about lasers. I knew this video was going to do good because my audience wanted to know why I use 2 lasers. This video is not about me. I don't need to tell me that why I use 2 lasers in Tarkov. This was a question that I knew was going to do well. And then the Wiggle video, obviously doing well. And then here's a couple videos related to this topic, which is what people want to see. The core Tarkov audience, they want to see me go after cheating in Tarkov. They want to see me go after BSG. They want to see me follow this in other games. They want to know what's going on. And this is why a follow video almost got 1 million views, which is pretty incredible. I was actually surprised about this. And I'm not surprised. Before I posted this video, I told Kelly, like, if I can get 100,000 views, that would be like amazing on this video. I knew this was going to do well. And the reason why is I'm going after early access gaming, which guess what? My entire audience is an early access, backer, at least for Tarkov. And a lot of there's a lot of crossover to Star Citizen. So I think this is my least liked video of any video I've ever made. And I knew that going in. And the thing is, because it's not about me. Okay. I facilitate the information. I facilitate the entertainment. I do a lot of research and do a lot of editing to present information in a really nice way. If you take me out of the picture and put somebody else who's doing a similar thing, it would work. Okay. And then basic principles, most people give up or they don't put enough effort into things. Okay. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. So how do you go from A to B? How do you go from not creating content to creating content or being successful or whatever? So you just need to start going live and making content on YouTube. And I know everyone says this, but I can't reiterate how important it is to just go and make content and start practicing. And the truth is, nobody will watch you, and that's okay. Okay. And your mistake is to try to rely on friends and acquaintances. Okay. Trying to convince people to watch you. There's this community that I used to be somewhat associated with, and they would do all these like follow farm things where everyone would like pull the tab up and you would kind of inflate views because everyone's ego. They want to see the big number. But what you don't realize is when you artificially inflate your numbers, whether it be subscribers or viewers or anything like that, you're just doing a disservice to yourself and you're hurting yourself. You're kicking the can down the road. You're artificially giving yourself some views. And what this community would do is like have a bunch of people who are AFK in a community with the tab open, and they just keep this view farm going, and they would transfer it to each other around so they can kind of artificially bump their numbers. And what you realize is that you're relying on people to give you numbers that are not actually being entertained. Okay. So you need to come up with a way is how can I entertain people who want to watch me? Because once you get past your friends and your acquaintances, how are you going to get that next person? How are you going to get the person after that? And if you haven't developed that skill, and if you've been given the wrong feedback, it's like asking your mom if you're a good singer. And it's great and all, but what you should do is go find an agent or go find somebody in the industry who is a singer and ask them what you should be doing better or get private lessons or whatever. And so you're avoiding reality when you do this. Okay. Again, everyone needs to start somewhere. There's nothing wrong with asking your friends to, hey, come watch my stream and all that kind of stuff. But there's a point in which you need to kind of move on from that. And it should be pretty early. So again, you need to practice all of these things. How do you entertain? How do you keep people's attention? How do you edit? It can take years to get really, really good at editing. But, in a couple months, you can learn how to edit efficiently, to get the point across. How do you record and how do you get better quality? And again, sound is more important than video. I see people mess this up all the time. Watch some videos on how to set levels. Like every time you go to make a stream or a video, you should be learning something new and implementing something new. You should be watching. There's so many videos on YouTube on how to do all this stuff right. So many videos. And the whole idea is that over time, you get a little bit better every single stream, every single video. And eventually, when you do get an audience or someone raids you or you get a new viewer who comes in and says hi to you, they actually have something better to watch because you've been working on it the whole time and it does pay off, right? I was making Tarkov content that was getting 1,000 views, and eventually I was starting to get into the 10, 20, 30,000, maybe 60,000 view range on videos. And if I hadn't been doing all of this stuff ahead of time, I would have lost them. They would have clicked out. It was, oh man, your video's off. It's fuzzy. Your sound's not very good. You don't know how to have a conversation with somebody. You're not retaining my attention. And they're going to click out. People have so many things to watch on YouTube. Why are they going to watch you? Start figuring out what your competitive advantage is and what you can do. And this is the only way to do it is to just go and try to make stuff. And so I put it here, find out about yourself, try new things. So are you the kind of person that needs to do like game shows and giveaways? Are you somebody who likes to have guests on? Do you like playing with other people and having almost like a podcast while you game? Are you somebody who's super entertaining and, you're super charismatic and are you like an XQC who's like really like people like watching you react to things? Or do you like pick fights with people in your chat and bring them into Discord and have arguments that people like watching? Or, like there's something for everyone. You need to figure this out. And likely you don't know what your competitive advantage is. You don't know what you are good at. There's something there, but you need to figure it out. And one of the things you do is you just try different things. So you need to be making content elsewhere. So let's check out Mr. Gibbon. So Mr. Gibbon, he makes a lot of content on TikTok, and wow, he's live right now. Okay, so he is live on TikTok, and he puts this little slice of his screen, of the vertical slice, and he's got people watching. But really, where he wants you is on Twitch. So Mr. Gibbon, and he's live right now. He has 1.3 thousand people watching him. I don't know what the stats are, but it's got to be like in the top 10th of a percentile on Twitch. I mean, he's killing it, right? He is a true full-time streamer. But if you were to ask him, like, am I where I need to be? He would probably tell you no. He wants to keep growing. He probably wants to have a clothing brand or, launch a podcast or whatever. There's all kinds of things that this guy probably wants to do. And if you look here, he's entertaining. Look, this is part of Mr. Gibbon's brand, okay? The guy is entertaining. All of his content that he creates on TikTok is his brand and him. And he's not selling his stream in each one of these videos. He's selling himself. He's building a brand. He's also learning what is entertaining. He's seeing which videos do well and which videos don't. And then people will go and watch him after they find out who he is. And, DayZ, this is a game that's like not that entertaining sometimes. It's a lot of running. Like, it's a run simulator. Look, he's running right now. I don't even know, what they're doing. But he's talking with chat. He's entertaining. He's going to have great conversations, all throughout the day. And that's why you watch Mr. Gibbon. That's his competitive advantage. That's what he's figured out about himself. So you need to figure out what that is for you. Okay, so one of the worst things you can do is go watch people like Asmongold, Shroud, or Summit, watch their streams, or XQC, right? And you're like, oh, here's XQC. He's playing Minecraft. I just need to pull up Minecraft and just play Minecraft and do what he's doing, and I will get, I'll do the same thing that he's doing. And it's like, wrong. Wrong. Let's go look at XQC's channel. Okay, how many videos? 4.7 thousand videos. Okay, if I were to scroll down on his channel to try to get to some of his older videos, we're going to be here all day. I tried doing this earlier, and I was like, okay. But what's really interesting is you can go back in time if you've got like maybe a scroll bot or something. It's really hard to go back and watch. You can't sort videos by old, but you can sit here for like an hour and scroll down and eventually get to his old videos and watch him grow over time. Don't look at where someone is now and what they're doing. Look at how they got there. And also realize that the landscape has changed a lot since these guys made it to the top. And what you want to do is look at somebody like Mr. Gibbon, who went from a hobbyist, in the coronavirus kind of lockdown era, and then now he is full-time. So it's relatively recent. And then again, the whole point of the monetization structure and how you make it as a creator these days is you create long form content. And this doesn't have to be a live broadcast. It can be longer form videos like say like a podcast or something like that. And then you cut it down into what I would call traditional shorts. People used to have short channels that were, 1 to 5 minutes or so. And they would make a separate channel because of the algorithm. And now we have actual shorts, right? So they're under 60 seconds. And it's much easier today because if you go and you look at my channel, the long form videos that show up under this tab are under a different algorithm than the shorts and are under a different algorithm than the live. And if I had a podcast, which YouTube launched recently, you could actually have a different algorithm for that too. So these older channels, if you go to XQC, he had to actually create different channels for this way back in the past. And you don't have to do that today. So that's one hurdle that you don't have to do. Some people are still opting to do that for brand reasons and whatnot. But, that's kind of cool. So where do people get stuck? Well, I think a lot of people grind without learning. And what do I mean by that? Well, they're not adapting, they're not improving. So you'll go to these channels and they'll have like 500 videos, each with like 1 to 10 views or something, or maybe less than 100 views. And you go and you look at their thumbnails and they haven't like changed their thumbnails. They haven't got, okay, like what's the way that people click on a video? A title and thumbnail. I need to think about like, how do I make a title and thumbnail more clickable? They haven't done the research. They haven't put the time in, and they're continuing to be presented with the same situation, and they're not trying anything new. Okay, that's not good. So every single one of your videos, you should be improving on something and adapting. And even worse, they don't grind, they don't put the effort in, and they have the knowledge. So they go and they watch a bunch of videos about how to do everything, and then they don't actually grind and get better. It's kind of like, have you ever played with somebody who knows everything about Tarkov, but they're terrible? Like they're always the first guy who's going to tell you what to do and all this kind of stuff, but they haven't put the time in to actually like play the game. It's kind of similar to that, right? Or they play a ton, but they're terrible because they've never taken the time to like analyze their gameplay, to like lower their mouse sensitivity, change their settings, watch some pros and how they do their movement and try to mimic some of those things. It's the same with gaming. It's the same with everything in life, really. You could apply this to investing. You could apply this to any job, really. And so these people that don't grind, they typically give up. A lot of the excuses they tell themselves as to why they're giving up and why, it's not working it really comes down to they think they're owed views and attention. They're not self-reflecting, and it feeds into this negative feedback loop of, okay, I'm going to give up. A lot of times you'll hear things like the algorithm is hurting me, the algorithm, whatever. Replace algorithm with audience, replace algorithm with people. That's all the algorithm is it's people making decisions. Going back to the idea that you're an entertainer and people watch you. Here's this video, the wiggle that killed Tarkov, 2.7 million. Really, really good video. I made a video about lasers. I knew people were asking this question in my shorts, and I knew this was something that people were confused about and would do well. So I made a video to entertain people, to explain something to people, to offer a service to people. That's essentially what you're doing on YouTube. You're answering a question, you're offering a service, whether it be entertainment, whatever. And it did well. This video did well. I stayed on topic and I gave people what they wanted. I gave them updates to what was going on. I told them what I was going to be doing. I stayed on topic. These videos did well. Again, I make a video going after early access gaming. And who are early access gaming supporters? Everyone who plays Tarkov is an early access backer. And there's a lot of crossover to Star Citizen. So of course this video didn't do well. This video got the most dislikes of like any video I've ever made. Okay, it's got a terrible ratio. And I kind of knew that going in, but it proves the point that people don't watch me. They watch my content. And if I make bad content, they'll stop watching. It's that simple. So another thing that people do is they create a community, which is great, but they almost create like relationships with every single person who watches them. Okay, the person comes in the chat, they say hi, they know their name, they know a little bit about them, they have a quick conversations, and it's, they basically collect a bunch of needy people around them. And eventually they're going to outpace the ability to maintain this. So for most people, the view cap's going to be around 30, sometimes 100, if you're super charismatic and you're just like really good at that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to tell a little story time. I once streamed and did a duo stream with this girl who was stuck into this, right? And we played some Tarkov, and the entire time, like literally, I while we were in raid, like trying to get stuff done, I could not even ask her where are you at, where are we going next, what item do you need? Because the entire stream, she's trying to keep up with her chat and having these like kind of intimate conversations, right? And checking with, oh hey Johnny, how you doing? What and all this kind of stuff. And so the problem is, as you grow past your 30 cap and you start talking to new people, well, the people that have a relationship with you are now feeling like cheated, right? And they're going to go find somebody else who's going to give them more attention. You have to get this mindset of having a relationship with each individual person in your stream. You need to think about creating entertainment that scales. So your show, every time you make a video or a stream, you need to think, okay, if 100,000 people were to watch this, okay, that's a lot of people. If you just think about how many people that is, okay? If you go to like a theater or like an auditorium where you would go see a big play or something like that, you're talking like 1,000 to 2,000 people. So when you're thinking, 100 times that number of people, if they were to watch my content, like what would they think? Okay, is it good? Is it going to hold up? Are people going to enjoy it? Start thinking like that, and don't think about individual people, friends, and stuff like that if you actually do want to grow. So I hope that was helpful. And at this part of the video, I basically want to talk about what I wish someone had told me before I went into gaming content. I wish someone had sat me down and said, okay, listen, here are some downsides, streaming and creating content for gaming. Okay. Number one, the CPMs are just low. So a CPM is how much you're paid per 1,000 views. In some parts of the finance genre, you can get paid $20 to $50 per 1,000 views. Now, typically how it works on YouTube is they take like half, and there's a negotiated rate, which you don't actually make the full 50, but you're going to make, a lot more than gaming. Okay. Gaming is $5 to $10 typically. Sometimes I'll make $3 as a CPM, sometimes $5. You're making about half of what the advertiser is paying YouTube sometimes. And then like tech in general is somewhere in the $10 to $20 range. And there are some genres that are paid a lot, some that are not paid at all. And so first of all, like when you talk about a career standpoint, yeah, it doesn't pay as much. And I'm not saying everything in life should be geared around money, but like it helps you buy new equipment. It helps you move forward. So in this space, it's very, very competitive. Advertisers are not paying a whole lot for eyeballs, and it's just kind of a bummer, and it's just unfortunate side of gaming. And one of the reasons it makes it so competitive is that everyone who has a gaming PC is qualified and has the equipment to stream. So when I was a wedding and portrait photographer, one of the things you had to compete against were moms with a camera. So, they're willing to shoot a wedding for like a couple $100, where I'm charging $2,000 to $5,000. And, it just lowers the overall amount of money that you can demand, because there's always somebody willing to come in and do it for a lot cheaper. Now, I would argue they're not going to do it as good, and they're not going to have a backup camera, and they're going to lose photos, and they're going to miss moments because they don't know how to use their flash, and they don't know how to handle, dark environments and whatever, right? Like I can make all those cases, but, it does lower the asking value that you can't ask when you have people willing to do that. So I eventually got into like commercial video, and, moms with a camera are not going to spend 10, 15, 20, 40 grand on like a camera and lens and all the lighting and all the editing that comes along with it. They're not willing to do that. So the amount of money that you can demand in that field was a lot higher. And then the other problem too is like when you make gaming a job, it's one of the fastest ways to ruin something that you love. You've seen this in the Tarkov community. You've seen guys that are absolutely forced to play Tarkov because they can't play a different game. And, what they loved, which was playing games with friends and challenging themselves and getting better, they're now trapped. They're now put in a box, and they have to do a certain thing. A new patch comes out, and the patch isn't good, and the game is kind of in a shit place, and they're forced to cover it and make another tutorial video or whatever, right? And so I had this problem in photography as well. You take photos for a living, and the last thing you want to do is like pull out your camera at a family thing and take photos with your friends and all that kind of stuff. So, and again, this is one of the reasons why there's so much competition in the gaming space, is because, how awesome is it to like make content for gaming and to play games for a living? That is like amazing, right? So where am I headed? Well, so I want to make meaningful content about things in the world. And that seems kind of broad, but I used to make philosophy content before I was a firefighter. When I was looking for a firefighter job, I had to go and delete all that stuff and kind of shut that down and stop that. But I don't want to be confined to one genre. So one of the problems with gaming is like I got to make gaming content. And even within gaming, like if I make something outside of Tarkov, like people aren't going to watch it. And I had to like go through this period of just making broad gaming content, which could take, several months. And, you're really, really confined. So I want to be able to talk about healthcare or finances or crime or whatever. So a little history about this decision to change. I made the decision to move away from Tarkov and gaming in general months ago. And I told my wife this, and I told her, okay, listen, I am going to go back to doing what I really want to do. I want to make investigative journalism videos. I want to, get into stuff that matters in people's lives. And I think I can do it in an entertaining way. And I think I have the right voice for it. I think that's what my calling is. And so I made the decision to move away from gaming. I made some pretty passive aggressive videos about Tarkov, kind of throwing, because I still love the game. I'm still going to play the game. Like personally, in my personal life, I still love the game. But from a professional standpoint of like making content for it and streaming it, I was getting frustrated. And you're seeing this in Tarkov streamers. You've seen this. I guarantee you have seen this from people you watch. They're frustrated, but they have to. And I didn't want to be in that position. And so that's kind of around the time when I was making some pretty passive aggressive videos, kind of attacking the problems with the game. I thought, well, if I'm not going to make gaming content anymore, why don't I do something a little risky then, like the Wiggle video, where, you know, if I get canceled in the Tarkov community, or if this doesn't work, I don't care. I'm moving on, right? So I made my first investigative journalism video, which was the Wiggle video, and it blew up. And this was probably bad for me, because what it did was it gave me every incentive to keep making gaming content and to keep doing a follow-up. And I did for a little bit, and I did a few things. But I realized, okay, my initial plan was to do gaming adjacent, tech adjacent, and then investigative journalism. And I'm just going to go straight into this. So I'm working on a video right now that'll probably come out this weekend, and I'm hopefully going to make about a video a week or a video every 2 weeks. Shorter videos about, you know, about one topic that is in a unique way that people haven't seen, and I hope to continue to do that. And I know that, like this video, it's not going to perform well. My audience doesn't want this. They don't know me for this. And really what I probably should do is create a new channel, but I'm just not going to. I don't care. If it's good content, it'll do well, and it'll work in the end. So I was done making Tarkov content before the Wiggle video. And it's going to make this transition difficult, because my audience and the people who have subscribed to me did not subscribe for this, because it's not about me. It's about the content. So anyway, I kind of wanted to make this video as just like an announcement video. I don't think this video is going to perform well, but I feel like this is something I can point people to when they ask questions about what's going on. And this is kind of just my general sorry, not sorry video. So if you're interested in this kind of process, and maybe you're a creator yourself, I've created this channel in the Discord called the Creator Corner, and I'm basically talking about what's going through my mind about the next video that I'm working on. I'm talking to other creators. You can just ask me or Tori to get access. And you know, like, here's an example. Like, here's a thumbnail that I'm working on for a healthcare video, and this is like a sketch that I made for it. And then I'm kind of showing like where my final version is, right? And I'm getting closer and closer to finishing the thumbnail and kind of my thought process around things. So if you want to follow that, that's a great place to be. It's free. You know, we're all just shooting the shit and talking about content creation. So shameless plug there. I hope to see you in the next video. I'm curious what you guys think. And, you know, if you unsubscribe and don't watch, that's completely reasonable. It's not why you clicked on this. This is just kind of my explanation around things. And I figured some of you guys might find this interesting. And I know I'm going to get questions. And so this is going to serve as a way of answering that for you. You guys have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.